Problem 14, test 1 for part 5. This is what's being asked for is a one proportion z-test. A one proportion z-interval, I should say. One proportion z-interval. Now so that means we're going to have the model for this is p hat plus or minus the margin of error. The margin of error equals z star times the standard error. The standard error equals the square root of p hat times q hat over n sample size. So we're given a margin of error which is 0.03. And we don't know z star. We know n. And we know p hat. And therefore we know q hat. 1 minus p hat. Q hat equals 1 minus p hat, which is going to be 0.72. Okay, so now we know all the pieces for this equation right here. Margin of error, let's break it out a little bit, equals z star times the square root of p hat times q hat over n. So z star is what we don't know. So the margin of error divided by the square root of p hat q hat over n by simple algebra is going to equal z star. If we divided both sides by the square root of p hat q hat over n, then we get the margin of error divided by the square root of p hat q hat over n equals z star. So let's continue with this. So which is going to equal 0.03 divided by the square root of 0.28 times 0.72 over 1028. And this is approximately equal to, now let's get the calculator out. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. And get the calculator out. Let's pull this back over a little bit. Okay, so let's clear this. So we'll have 0.03 divided by the second square root of 0.28 times 0.72 divided by 1028. And we get z star is 2.14. Okay, now we know what z star is, so we want to know, here's what we need to know. the confidence interval goes from positive 2.14 to negative 2.14. So it's the area in between. This is the confidence interval. What's in the middle is p hat. Okay, so to get the area under that curve, we'll use normal CDF. And we'll go from the left, negative 2.14, to the right, comma, positive 2.14. And it's about, well, it's 0.967. So this area here, that area is approximately equal to 0.97%. So the area under the curve encompassed by a z-star of 2.14 is 97%. So remember, let's go back to it's plus or minus the margin of the error. The plus or minus comes from, you're going to go the margin error to the right, the margin error to the left. But the plus and minus is really applied to the z-score. So you go 2.14 to the right and 2.14 to the left, and that's how you get a 97% confidence interval with this other information. And that's about that.